Without change, something sleeps inside us. The sleeper must awaken.
Hello and welcome back to another We Ourselves video. And today I want to talk about a response to a short video I did, to a YouTube short that I did about Marvel showing its true colors. And the short focused in on the disrespect towards Sam Wilson's Captain America. Not from toxic fans, but from Marvel Studios itself. And I want to talk about that today. Now, I've done a limited series of videos entitled Marvel is Showing Its True Colors, and it's all about the mistreatment of its black characters. In particular, one of my videos talked about how they mistreated Mahershala Ali. When Mahershala Ali tried to use his talent, his abilities, his connections in Hollywood to make sure that his version of Blade was successful, or as he said, he wanted his Blade movie to be his Black Panther. The reaction of Marvel and its media allies were to call what he did excessive, out of bounds, inordinate power and control and manipulation. You even had people come forward even recently saying that Mahershala Ali was the problem. But then, when it came to Ryan Reynolds and all the things he did to make sure that his Deadpool and Wolverine movie was successful, that man was applauded, even though he did the same thing that Mahershala Ali did. When Robert Downey Jr. made the same moves to bring the Russos back because those directors had worked successfully in the past with him, and he wanted his Doom to be successful, Robert Downey Jr. was applauded. And as I said, recently it has come out that Robert Downey Jr., who is not hired as a screenwriter nor a producer on Avengers Doomsday, is working closely with the screenwriters on the story. But again, he is applauded. And so in that initial video, when I talked about Marvel showing its true colors and belittling and criticizing Mahershala Ali for doing the same thing that these two white men did. And there are always people who want to complain about it, but all I'm doing is showing the disparity. I'm not making anything up. And so in my second YouTube short in that series, I talked about Marvel Studios showing its true colors towards Sam Wilson by belittling and disrespecting his character. And once again, you get the silly folks who want to charge in and say I'm just making stuff up. As all of you who watch my videos know, when I talk about these subjects, I always say the same thing. I'm not making anything up. I'm not writing these movies, okay? I'm not writing these Disney Plus TV shows. I'm not the one who admits common storytelling elements when it comes to the black characters, yet you use them for all the other white characters and other characters of color who aren't black. I'm not the one who are ignoring these elements over and over again, even though they were proven to be successful in generating audience sympathy and connection to your MCU characters. It is Marvel and Disney and the talented writers and producers and the directors of these TV shows and movies. And I'm simply pointing out the disparity in the character treatment. I don't have to make anything up because in this case, truth is stranger than fiction. This is what they are doing. It simply is the way it is. And I always find it interesting that people want to complain and accuse me of making up stuff. But here's the interesting thing. You never explain why there is a disparity when it comes to the treatment of the black characters in the MCU. If it's not about color, then please explain why these characters do not get the same basic, proven again over and over character treatment that you give to every other character. That is why I did my Thunderbolts video talking about how they use those techniques once again, even when they didn't have to in the case of a couple of characters, but yet they used those techniques again to help the audience identify and sympathize and empathize with these characters. It is their standard practice, except when it comes to the black characters. And you can get away with something once and you can claim it's an oversight. But when you do it consistently to the black men and women characters in the MCU, that's on purpose. And so when it comes to the disrespect of Sam Wilson, I ain't making nothing up, okay? This is what Disney and Marvel Studios is doing to this character, or in a lot of cases, not doing for the character. And remember, they are the ones that chose Sam Wilson to be the next leading man, to be the next Captain America. Not me, They did. In the Thunderbolts, they make fun of Sam for not being the leader of the Avengers. They make fun of him by saying he's actually suing to get the copyright for the name Avengers so they can't use it. I'm not making this up. This is what the writers and the directors put in that movie and Kevin Feige and company signed off on. Remember, this movie is the first and best example, according to Bob Iger, of the new Marvel process of getting it right. A movie that disrespects one of their leading black male characters. And just break it down. In the first solo movie as Captain America, Sam Wilson did not even induct Torres into the Avengers as the new Falcon. Yet other characters in the movies have officially welcomed other people into the Avengers. For example, Exhibit number 1, or Exhibit A, in my case. In the end credit scene of Shang-Chi, you had Wong induct Shang-Chi and a friend into the Avengers while standing around with the surviving members of the current Avengers team. Where the hell was Sam? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out in February of 2021, that same year. In that show, by the end, Sam had officially put on the mantle of Captain America, and he even had a new outfit from Wakanda. Shang-Chi came out in October or November. I think it was November of that same year. Months later. And in between all that time, you know they were finishing up post-production and they were probably doing reshoots. They could have easily added Sam to that post-credit scene, but they chose not to do it. Marvel dropped the ball on their new Captain America. Again, where the hell was he in that post-credit scene? Exhibit number 2 in my case. Miss Marvel. At the end of the Marvels, she officially recruits Kate Bishop into the Young Avengers. And let us not forget Exhibit number 3 in my case, Your Honor. Back in Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, Tony Stark knighted Tom Holland's Spider-Man and said, "You are now officially an Avenger." And in Hawkeye, a TV show, a Disney Plus show that came out in the same year as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you had Hawkeye pass his mantle to Kate Bishop. Talk about her new name. But remember, in Avengers Age of Ultron, Hawkeye officially welcomed Wanda Maximoff into the Avengers when he looks at her and he says, "If you walk out that door, you are an Avenger." All of these scenes were touching. All of these scenes were character moments. Yet Sam Wilson has not said that to one person. Not even in his own first solo movie as Captain America did he turn to Joaquin Torres and say to him, "You are now an Avenger. You are now the new Falcon." We don't get any rites of passage from this man because of the way they have written him. Yet all these other characters, some low-level characters, have officially welcomed other people into the Avengers, and it sticks. Exhibit number 5, I believe in my case. Wakanda Forever. Why the hell didn't Sam show up to help the Wakandans? Again, he was Captain America and he had his new outfit from the Wakandans. It would have been nice to see him and Shuri, another person who's supposed to be one of the leaders of the new Avengers. It would have been nice to see them in a post-battle scene on the big screen together. Is Marvel Studio afraid of seeing two powerful black characters working together? Hello? Is that the problem? If it is, it just goes to the disrespect. If it's another reason, it still goes to the disrespect. They are the ones that are continually dropping the ball on Sam and not having him do his job. And they cemented that idea by making fun of him in the end credit scene of The Thunderbolts, a movie that I, once again, paid my money to go and see. Again, I'm not making any of this stuff up. This is what they have done or not done for the Sam Wilson character. So send the comments to Kevin Feige. Send the comments to Marvel. Send the comments to Bob Iger and Disney. They are the ones that are disrespecting Sam Wilson, aka Captain America, by not having him do his job. And as far as I'm concerned, that is total disrespect. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about this because it amuses me to get people who constantly want to argue with me and accuse me of making stuff up when I ain't making nothing up. It simply is what it is. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you the next time.
The sleeper has awakened!